So welcome again to our webinar, Climate Smart Coffee Cultivation in Your Pocket. We are really happy to have you here today all, and still people coming in, but no matter, we start because we are all impatient to get this webinar started. So what is our topic today? We are going to launch a new app, and what do we have on the platform on that for you? We will get to know a new progressive web app that should be available or will be available globally to support smallholders in adapting to the effects of climate change. And we are getting to know the background about it. We are introducing the app. We will give you impressions from the field about the effects of climate change and how to adapt to them. And we're also going to cast an eye into the future of the app. And after that, we will give you a call to action, start use it. We need field practice and feedback. So I am Jesko Johansen. I am working for the communications in H&S, Hans-Herrn-Neumann Stiftung here in Hamburg. And with me, I'm not alone. I never do these things alone. I like to have people with me, and I have three guests here, and I would like to ask all the three of you to switch on your cameras so that we can meet you. So first we have Victor Komakech, our climate coordinator from Uganda. Hello, Victor. How are you today?
Very fine. Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Then we have Annika Nikolaudius. She is also from H&S Comms and a biologist, and she gave the toolbox its content. So Annika, it's great to have you here today.
Hello, thanks, Jesko.
And then we also have Stefan Ruge, who is the program manager of Coffee and Climate at H&S.
Hello, and excited to get started.
Yes, we will do that in a minute, but before we begin, just some housekeeping. We are happy to take your questions. You will have a Q&A button in the lower part of your window, so please send in your questions. We look forward to respond to them in the end. Probably we will not manage with all of them, so please bear with us. And we will, of course, also have the webinar recording in the end for you that will be available and shared in the upcoming days with a beautiful YouTube link. So let's begin. Before we come back to Victor and Annika, who will leave us for the moment again, at least visually, I will give to dive directly into the topic the word to Stefan, who will speak quickly about coffee and climate. Stefan, please.
Can you see the presentation now?
Yes, we see the presentation. Go ahead.
Excellent. So we know it's no secret. Climate change is already hitting coffee smallholders hard. Rising temperatures, unpredictable rainfall, more pests and diseases, or worsening soil conditions are putting an enormous pressure on them and their communities. And it's not just about the coffee, it's their entire future and their ability to have a decent and hopefully one day prosperous livelihood that's at risk. And while we are all familiar with these challenges, we have to keep in mind that this isn't some distant threat we are facing. It's happening right now. With every degree rise in temperature and every shift in rainfall, these farmers find themselves in an even tougher spot. That's why it's so important to realize that this goes far beyond just coffee. It's about the well-being of entire farming communities, their economies, and the very future of the coffee sector itself. And let me share a bit from my recent field visit to Santa Rosa, Guatemala. What I saw there really brought home the harsh realities of climate change. The farmers told me that they have been dealing with a severe drought, no rain for almost 8 months. It's created a really tough situation. And this prolonged dry spell, combined with increasingly unpredictable coffee growing cycles, is pushing these farmers to the brink. Food insecurity is on the rise, and fewer young people see a future in farming, which is driving more and more of them to consider leaving their communities. And what's worse, when farmers want to adapt to these challenges, they often lack the knowledge and resources needed to make the necessary changes. And this makes it clear the current situation is a serious threat, not just to the livelihoods of these families, but to the long-term sustainability of coffee production in such a key region. To ensure a viable and thriving future for farmers like those in Santa Rosa and for the coffee sector as a whole, we need to rethink how coffee is grown and managed. It's clear that small incremental changes won't be enough. We need a complete transformation. This means moving away from outdated practices and adopting innovative, adaptive approaches that can help farmers become more resilient to climate change. It's about diversifying crops, improving food security, moving towards agroforestry, and using digital tools. Without this kind of transformational change, the future of coffee farming and the millions of people who rely on it will remain uncertain. And this is where Coffee&Climate comes into play. Our initiative brings together producers, roasters, traders, researchers, and NGOs to confront the critical challenges that climate change presents to coffee growing regions and the communities that depend on them. And what makes Coffee&Climate unique is a strong commitment of our members. They have pledged not only to use the tools and practices generated within Coffee&Climate, but also to ensure that all the experiences and the knowledge gained through our initiative are shared as a public good, accessible to everyone in the sector. This open exchange is essential if we are going to tackle climate change effectively. But we also need to be honest here. Our time window is shrinking fast, so we have to act now. And for that, we need to push ourselves, recognizing that this isn't something we can solve alone. We need scale, further development of expertise, and shared commitment, especially for the millions of coffee smallholder farmers. Ultimately, it's about recognizing that we can only manage the climate crisis together. And that's the spirit of Coffee&Climate. Let me explain shortly how our initiative operates on the ground. In each of our 7 program countries, we start with what we call climate witness workshops. These workshops engage directly with local farming communities to understand how climate change is affecting them, what coping strategies they already have, and where the knowledge gaps are. Based on what we learn, we partner with experts from local universities, research organizations, and other relevant institutions to develop tailored solutions that address the specific challenges faced by smallholder farmers. But we don't stop there. The solutions are then tested on our Coffee&Climate trial plots to evaluate their effectiveness and cost-benefit ratio in real-world conditions. If the results are positive, we work to share these findings widely, making sure they are accessible as a public resource for farmers, extension officers, and the broader coffee community. In short, it's about bridging the gap between knowledge and action, ensuring that practical, effective solutions are available to all who need them. And we focus here on 3 main ways of sharing our knowledge and building capacity within the coffee sector. First, we have our communities of practice in our program countries that bring together people from all parts of the coffee value chain. These communities of practice provide a platform for sharing experiences, best practices, and innovative solutions to the challenges posed by climate change. Second, we organize relevant events and webinars, and these are opportunities for experts, farmers, and stakeholders to connect, exchange ideas, and learn from each other. And finally, and that is the reason why we are here today, our Coffee&Climate toolbox as a comprehensive resource that contains practical tools, guidelines, and methodologies developed through our initiatives, but it's also open for further partners. And by leveraging these 3 approaches, we aim to provide farmers and decision makers with the knowledge and information they need to make the right decisions on how to adapt, while also advancing the coffee sector as a whole. And with this short introduction about our initiative, I would like to hand over back to Jesko.
Yes, thank you very much, Stefan. So a comprehensive overview on c&c, and I will just continue where you stopped talking about the toolbox, and you still have to stop your screen sharing, Stefan, so that we can get to the next program point, and which is, yeah, the most important thing today. We promoted so much the app, so we want to get to know it and want to see what it is about. So I would like you all to say hello to the all new Coffee and Climate Toolbox in the form of a progressive web app.
In every profession, there are tools essential to success. The potter needs a whole set of tools to create functional pieces of art. The builder needs his toolbox to turn blueprints into reality. Coffee farmers are facing unprecedented challenges: lower yields, more pests and diseases. Climate change is rewriting the rules for smallholder coffee farming families around the globe. And this is their toolbox. It's time to make coffee farming more climate resilient. At Coffee and Climate, we support smallholder families and their communities to effectively respond to climate change and improve their livelihoods. Our toolbox is designed to empower farmers with the knowledge and resources they need. How do we achieve this? The Coffee and Climate Toolbox is an interactive web app that can be accessed anywhere, anytime, and can be used online or offline when you're in the field. With our innovative tool finder, farmers, but also trainers such as agronomists and extensionists, can easily discover tools according to their specific needs. Or you can browse tools by category. Each tool consists of step-by-step guides that include checklists, images, and videos, simplifying the process and enabling farmers to apply adaptation and mitigation practices. Versions are available for different countries, using methods tested locally to suit the specific challenges and resources of each region. These tools are based on real-world experiences and are constantly updated to reflect the latest scientific insights, ensuring you always have the right tools at your fingertips. The Toolbox empowers a global community where farmers can exchange tools and knowledge, learning from each other's experiences to face climate challenges head-on. Available on every smartphone, tablet, or desktop, our toolbox is free of charge and accessible around the world in all major languages. So, what does the smallholder coffee farmer have in common with a potter or a builder? Every potter, every builder, and every farmer needs the best tools available to craft excellent results. At Coffee and Climate, we support smallholder coffee farming families around the globe to become more climate resilient by providing an accessible, easy-to-use digital toolbox tailor-made for use in remote coffee farming regions. Download the Coffee and Climate Toolbox today and experience the future of coffee farming.
Now we're going to go live into the internet and have Annika with us, who spent a significant amount of time into this project. And she did that together with the featured coffee growing regions. And Annika will now present the toolbox in more detail and unleash its whole potential for us. So Annika, floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Jesko. Yeah, and hello again, everybody. So I'm really happy and excited today because we get the opportunity to launch and present the c&c toolbox to the public. And as Jesko already mentioned, it has really been a work of many months, even years. And of course, it has been a collaborative work. So we have been working together with all the colleagues and experts in all the regions where Coffee and Climate is active. So I will right away start. And share my screen. So this is going to be the view when you open and enter the toolbox for the first time. So you have a pop-up window here where you can first of all install the toolbox. This is something I will get to a bit later. So let us jump this step first of all. And then you will also see that the toolbox is seeing your location basically based on your IP address of your computer. So when you are logging in or when you are accessing the toolbox from a non-coffee growing regions, as I'm doing right now here from Hamburg in Germany, the default version will be Brazil. However, we can choose any of the c&c regions. And when you are, for example, in Ethiopia or Guatemala, then the app will automatically locate you there and suggest to you the correct country. When you are accessing from a coffee growing region that is not in this list here, then it will be allocated to one region that is more or less a little bit similar when it comes to climate and cultivation practices. So we stick to Brazil here. Then in the next step, we have the opportunity to choose the language. And again, the toolbox will automatically recognize in which language your device is. So the browser language that you are using, in my case, it is English. It will automatically recognize, which is very nice and practical. And we are providing the major local languages of the region in which c&c is active. So that is here, for example, Amharic and Oromo for Ethiopia. We have Spanish, Indonesian, Luganda, and Portuguese and Swahili. Here we stick to the English version and we start the toolbox. So what you're seeing here is our dashboard. And we have here some more info on the toolbox. We're not gonna looking into this right now because the most important part here is there are several ways to access the tools. So when I speak of tools right now, I speak of climate smart practices. So that's why it's called toolbox. It's a box of climate smart practices. And we have different ways to enter it here. For example, this tool finder. And here you see right away what is a big part of the toolbox is we have two areas. So we have this main part, which is directed to the farmers and of course also to agronomists, technical officers, and which contains basically the tools in the form of a step-by-step, very easy to use recipes, how to implement these climate smart practices. And we also have an area that is dedicated to trainers, that means to extensionists, technical officers, agronomists. But we will get to this later. Let us start now with the perspective of the farmer. So this tool finder, the idea is that the user, the farmer, for example, has a specific climate-related challenge. So that can be like related to the trees, that there are more pests and diseases occurring. It can be related to the soil conditions, the water supply. It can like affect the post-harvest handling or general business activities. So the idea is that the farmer comes with a problem and he can enter the tool finder here and choose, for example, I have problems with my soil conditions. And then the next step, it's getting more specific. So for example, the soil fertility can be low. The soil can be too dry, it can be eroding, it can be compacted, or maybe it is waterlogged due to the heavy rainfalls as a result of climate change. So the farmer knows, of course, their problem. And for example, they can enter here in this soil fertility problem. And then they will already get a number of recommendations of tools. So in this case, here it's bokashi, it's biochar, and for example, it's also compost. And I would like to show to you the compost tool. And we really made an effort to make these tools or these climate smart practices in the presentation, like very easily understandable, but at the same time provide as many information that are necessary and possible so that the farmers can make informed decisions if they want to use this practice, if it makes sense in their environment. And as you see here, we can choose again if we want to see the version for Brazil or any other country. This tool is applicable for Arabica and Robusta beans. And then we have a general concept that informs about the benefits and the general mechanism of the tool. And then we have a video that is, the idea of the video is that in some places we have illiteracy rates. So these videos function should be understandable without reading. Also, there might be users that just don't want to read as much, and for them it's easier to just look through these easily understandable videos. Also, we made an effort here with these videos to make them like universal or universally understandable throughout all regions. So that's why we didn't really want to work with videos that were taken in just one region. And then we have a section that is called to be considered, that is giving some more details, what should be considered before implementing the tool or while implementing the tool, maybe also some hints to other tools. Here, for example, we also talk about the bokashi, which functions a bit similar, or another option to improve the soil conditions with the biochar production. Also, we talk about the timing, when is the best moment to implement the tool, how long will it take, etc. Yeah, and then we get to the point like the implementation part, which reminds a bit of a cooking recipe. That is the idea behind it. So we have a list of materials. We can check off these materials. And when you log in again after some days or at some point, which is particularly important for this tool, for the compost tool, because it takes several weeks up to months until it is fully implemented, then these boxes will still be checked. So you can just restart where you have been. Yeah, and then we go step by step through some preparation of the place to get all the ingredients, then how it is really done and mixed. We have here some photos. These photos are always region specific also. So these are photos for Brazil particularly. And we have here some attention and tip boxes that should just give some extra information on where to really pay attention, what can be difficult or maybe even dangerous or whatever, and some tips on what could be done additionally or could be recommended. And the compost tool is rather a bit a long tool. Lots of steps. We have also the application information on how to use the compost, particularly here on plantations of new seedlings and fresh coffee fields, also on fields that already exist, like with older trees, how to use it in the coffee nursery, and if you want to apply it even on other crops. Then we talk about the storage of the compost, and then we get to a section that is that we have throughout all tools again. These are the economic and the green benefits. So that means with the economic benefits, we really want to give the farmers an incentive, like because of course we all have to look. Does it make sense financially to implement this tool? And how far can I improve my income, maybe even with it? So for example, like with higher coffee yields or lower fertilizer costs. And of course, which is also very important, the green benefits and how far can this tool improve the situation for the environment. And yeah, that's what we also want to mention here. And then the final section of every tool is the further reading section. Here we have, here we provide some PDF documents studies from c&c trials that have happened or been conducted in the regions, and also links to other manuals or other information. So just for a comparison, I would like to show you only very quickly that the Ethiopian version, for example, is very similar in general from the implementation. However, here we have we use other pictures, for example, because in Ethiopia the compost production looks a little bit different than in Brazil, for example. So that is just really important that every farmer can identify and see how it is really done there. And what you see here below in this menu bar is here on the right. This compost tool is the tool number 205. So, and you can download it here. So when I click on this button, it is downloaded to your device, to my device. Later I will show you where you can find it again. Okay, let's go back to the dashboard so that I can show you the other way to access the tools. And that is the tools by category. So this is basically used if there's not a specific climate-related problem, but maybe a farmer just wants to make their coffee production more climate smart. So we can have a look here. Maybe they want to improve their soil management, their water management. So we sorted all the tools into categories and subcategories. And when we want to get back to our compost tool, we have to enter the soil management. And then here we have the subcategories. One of them is nutrient management. So the farmer knows, okay, what can I do in terms of nutrient management? And then they will find the same compost tool here, like we've entered before. So then I would like to show you the trainer section that I talked about before. Here's also an entry point to the trainer section. And yeah, basically this trainer section provides agronomists and extensionists with knowledge and material to support farmers in making their coffee production more climate smart. That is the idea. So this area is not so much directed to farmers. That's why we also put it a little bit at the side and not like in the focus of the app. And yeah, as I said, trainers can find valuable materials here. What you see here is the 5-step approach that Coffee&Climate is working with. So this is basically the approach we are working with in the field on a daily basis. Like this is how we, how the trainers, how the technical officers work together with the farmers. So that starts here with the yellow step, the setting the scene, assessment of the challenges. This is already what Stefan mentioned before. This is where the agronomist visits the farmer, talks with the farmers about climate challenges that can be in these climate witness workshops that Stefan also mentioned. And then they plan together which climate smart practices do make sense in their specific local context. And then they implement these practices over a longer time. And then at some point they evaluate it, they monitor the results, and they talk about it again. And that's where the circle starts again, because then all the learnings like flow again into this whole process. And of course, also as the climate change is proceeding, there might be different challenges. Some challenges might get worse, etc. So it's always necessary to regularly reevaluate the situation. So right now, this area is not really filled, so we are still working on this. So this is something that you will be able to see probably in the next year. where we will put behind every step, we will put materials that will help the trainer in that case to support the farmer. Okay, then we go back to our home screen. And yeah, as I promised, I wanted to show you where you find our downloaded tool, the compost tool. This is here below in this menu bar. And when you enter here, you see the compost tool. And basically the interesting part about this download section is that you can use it offline. So once you have installed the app on your smartphone, on your desktop computer, and yeah, you get into an area where you don't have internet, you can still access the tools here and look through them. Okay. And one final thing that I would like to show you is these settings area up here on the right. So we already started to choose some settings with this first pop-up that I showed you in the beginning. But here you always have the opportunity to adjust it again. Like here you can again change the language. You can choose the region. When you say, okay, I want to see which kind of tools are available in Honduras, not in Brazil, so you can change any time. You see, it's a different view. And then we have these push notifications. So the push notifications are interesting if you want to stay up to date about new tools that we are uploading. Anything, for example, when we are having the trainer section installed, any new features of the toolbox, then you receive a push notification straight to your desktop screen or to your desktop of your smartphone. And however, to receive these push notifications, you need to install the app. And of course, when you install the app, it will be visible with an icon on your desktop or on your below on your on the bar of your computer, on your taskbar. And that enables you also to really have easy access. You don't have to go to through the browser again. And the final thing is the login function. This is something that gives you the opportunity to comment on tools, to interact with the global community by commenting also on other comments. This is something that we are right now still implementing in the next weeks. And if you use the toolbox in different devices on your smartphone or your desktop computer, your settings will be synchronized every time you're logged in. So yeah, that's basically why we really recommend if you want to use the toolbox, just download it and also use the login function. And yeah, because by doing so, you will really get the best benefits and the full experience of the toolbox. So yeah, and that's where I hand back over to Jesko. Thanks a lot for your attention.
Yes, thank you, Annika. Just stay with me for the moment. Don't stop sharing. So I would just want to catch up with something that we get a lot of questions here and feedback already, mostly more feedback than questions. So very positive feedback. So thank you already for that. I just want to catch up with two things here because download was one of the main questions. So the Toolbox is a progressive web app, which makes it very flexible to be used both in a browser and downloaded. So if people hear the app, they directly think just of download. So that's why this download function is important. When you visit for the first time this website, toolbox.coffee, you will get the pop-up as Annika showed. And she also showed in the settings where the push notification button was, depending on your device, the app will give you instructions how to download it. And I can really recommend you to do it. You will have it on your desktop. You will have it on your home screen of your smart mobile device. And then you also get all the push notifications. So it's very easy to use. It's a little bit different from what we usually do with downloading an app, but this is the way. And the benefit for us is that we can both work in a browser and on the device. And then the online offline capability is much better here, because if farmers have no data, if they are in a remote areas, but I do not believe that we have remote areas without Wi-Fi in coffee regions, probably here back in Germany, but maybe not where the coffee grows, then you still have access to the tools. So that's very, very cool. And the other thing is that the questions of the countries is of course there. So Coffee and Climate is active in Brazil, Guatemala, Honduras, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, and Indonesia. That's why the tools are now for these countries. The toolbox is open for other countries as well, but bear with us, it's a lot of work behind this app, so we needed to start with our own infrastructure, and it will grow. So just to catch up with these two things, and thank you, Annika, for showing the download version again. So your starting point is always the website based on the browser in your computer or in your smart device. Okay, so thank you very much, Annika, for this. I come back to you later, but now we are just the messenger of the demands of the coffee farming families. And as one of their ambassadors, I'm happy now to welcome Victor. I think, Annika, you can also stop sharing the screen so we can enjoy Victor's smile, because Victor is probably the only person I know that I never experienced in a bad mood. So, Victor, how are you today?
I'm very fine, Jesco.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so Victor, just let's jump directly into the topic. So you know the toolbox from the development, of course. You also, as one of the farmer representatives, gave us a lot of input. So what do you think? How helpful could this toolbox be for farmer communities?
Yeah. Thank you, Jesco. Of course, I think all of us are aware that really the access and use of digital tools is on the increase worldwide, as many studies show. And of course, this is not an exception for farming communities. We, as field extension workers, living and staying with the farmers, we are witnessing more and more farmers in the rural areas actually increasingly having access to smartphones and internet connections. Of course, this is also associated with the reducing costs of smartphones. Used to be quite expensive in the past. So the cost is going down, making it more accessible to our farmers. We are also seeing in different countries, the literacy rates are also going up, meaning that more and more people are actually able to use the smartphones. And in many of our communities, we are also seeing increase in access to electricity. So farmers can be able to charge their phones and use them as required. Already, of course, we are also working with quite a number of young people, and many interventions that we have put as HRNS and also other institutions to get the young people into farming as a business. And of course, what we know with the young people is that there is always a lot of interest in digital learning platforms and applications like this one, the c&c toolbox. So yes, I strongly believe that it's very important to make climate smart culture and other relevant information more accessible to the farmers using simple, easy to understand and use digital tools and applications as the c&c toolbox. So it's going to be quite useful.
So you think with the tools that you know and that you develop together, it really could support farmers to increase resilience?
Yes, strongly, because as already mentioned by Annika, and by the walkthrough, we can see that the c&c toolbox is really an application which is simple to use. So meaning it can be used by a variety or maybe, a number of people with different abilities to read, literacy rates and all that. So it's really, really simple to use. And it also has a diversified range of tools, which are quite simple to understand for different categories of people. And it's also translated, in the local languages, in the areas where we work, making it easier to use even for our farmers. And besides that, we have also seen that it has videos, which with very clear step-by-step explanations on the use and application of the tools. And the tools were also developed, in a more participatory manner, with a wide range of consultations with local agronomists, like myself, with national documents that we have for the sector, and of course other stakeholders, but also most importantly, incorporating farmer feedbacks as well. So, and we have also seen that the different tools can be downloaded and accessed even in places.
Oh, now we're losing Victor a bit, but yes.
Where internet is actually not accessible.
Yeah. Just like in your office at the moment. Yes, now I hear you again.
Hello?
So now you would have better downloaded some tools already.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Victor. I would like to invite Annika and Stefan to rejoin us also for some questions. We get a lot of very positive feedback and also interestingly some really good questions. For example, how the information, if it would be possible to include more information. Victor, stay with us unless your internet cut you off. So how we can improve more knowledge about the conditions of the farms, and some really nice ideas already here. But I would like just to go back to come to this participatory way and localized approach in the toolbox development. Annika, can you roughly describe the process, how the content has been developed?
Yeah, so as you said, this participatory or collaborative aspect was something that was really important for us right from the beginning. And the whole project was really a joint work and effort of all the colleagues and experts from the countries in which c&c is active. So as Victor mentioned, he was one of them with his technical contributions and his valuable insights from Uganda. And of course, there were many others from the other regions. To explain the process a bit, we started last year with conversations with the experts and teams on site, and to really discuss which features will be needed in this new toolbox, this new app, what needs to be considered and being taken care of, and what we really need to focus on so that the farmers get the best results of it. And we collected all these different perspectives from all these conversations, and the web design agency we are working together with here in Hamburg, they integrated these aspects into the app development that was then happening throughout the whole summer last year. And then this year we were basically very much invested in drafting the tools and really generating the content. And that also happened in a way basically that here in Hamburg, we drafted a tool based on reports of trials that have been conducted by c&c in the field. Also case studies. The whole thing was backed up with manuals and common guidelines. And this very first draft was then sent to the regions and really enriched with all the knowledge from the regions. So every region really made a country-specific version for every tool, which is also very important because for very simple reasons. For example, in some regions, we have different unit systems. We use sometimes hectares and acres or kilograms and quintals. Then some tools are very similar and some are very different throughout the regions. When we have, for example, the cover crop tool, the general mechanism is always the same, but in every region, we use different plants as cover crops. Another example is the preparation of bokashi, for example, where you usually put sugar into it. But there are regions, for example, in Ethiopia, where sugar is not so much available, also rather expensive. And there we use sugarcane products. So we really adjusted the tools to the specific needs of the regions. And of course, some tools don't make sense in some regions, like rainwater collection or drip irrigation. They don't make so much sense in Indonesia, where we have rather humid conditions, different than in other regions. And of course, I mean, all this first-hand knowledge and experience really lies with the people and experts on site in the region. So it is just crucial to really listen and implement what they suggest.
Yes, and this is also going to some of the amazing questions we get here. It's really a lot of input. I think we can double the content with what we get. So ranging from the question of diversification, but also gender inclusiveness, where we have already a consultancy running also in the regions to find out, to make sure that women have the same access, but also location specific. Currently, we're working only on the IP address of users, but GPS could of course also be more specific and so on. So our audience has a lot of ideas. So Annika, can you just give a little bit of what is coming next? So we will not be able to answer all of these questions, I'm sorry, but we will for sure document these comments and look what we can do with them. But Annika, what are the next plans? Really, we are probably already working on.
Yeah, I mean, that's really great to hear that the audience also already has lots of ideas, because our team, we were all the time in this process that we thought, okay, we could also implement this, or this is in the future that would really make this app so perfect and comprehensive. And so, yeah, we also have lots of ideas. There are some things we are currently working on. Of course, content-wise, we will translate all the tools to all the languages. So far, we have the major pages in the different languages. This is something coming up in the next weeks and months. Further tools will, of course, always be uploaded, because c&c is also keeping is always keeping to work on evaluating and testing new techniques, and all this information will flow into the toolbox. We will develop this trainer section, as I said. We will do field tests, as Jesko just mentioned, also to really provide gender inclusiveness and always improve the toolbox according to the needs and wishes of the farmers. And now the technical part, which is like a big playground of features that can be added. Right now we are working on this comment function that we already mentioned. You will find it in the next few weeks, very soon. Of course, the login is necessary, so please don't forget to download and log in. And we will have the function to share tools, like single tools with other farmers. Maybe we can have at some point self-curated tool lists that you can just have your favorite tools in your own list. And in a very long-term perspective, what would be great to use artificial intelligence to, for example, upload pictures to recognize challenges in the field, and also to integrate weather data and long-term projections of climate impacts, for example.
Thank you, Annika. So it is great to see the need. There's a big need and demand for the toolbox. So bear with us. We are releasing the first version today, which is continuously updated and will get new features. And we will take all of your comments. But yeah, also we need to work on that and mobilize some resources to get things in. One question also is how to reach the communities. And I would give that to Victor. Well, we have, of course, our c&c H&S approaches. But Victor, how can we promote the app among the farmer communities? So now you're muted still.
Sorry. Yeah, I hope you can hear me now. So we actually have ways in which we access the farmers. For example, we conduct trainings through the farmer field schools. So we shall use these avenues to be able to, train the farmers and show them how these tools can be used. Stefan also mentioned about the communities of practice that we actually have, bring together different stakeholders in the coffee sector, in the different coffee growing regions. So this is also an avenue that we shall use to be able to promote the c&c toolbox and among the different stakeholders. And we hope that by doing this, we can be able to reach more and more farmers. They can use their own means to be able to scale this up to the different farmers where maybe HRNS cannot be able to reach.
And it's free. It's an open platform, so we can also encourage everyone in the audience today to distribute the link also in their own networks. Stefan,
Sure.
One question that is coming, of course, is also a lot about data. So so for example, can users input data to the c&c toolbox to monitor climate resilient practices? So this is something we also already discussed, how data could support us, but also simply the regional part, and a lot of people are asking also how they can utilize it in their own networks. Maybe you can say a little bit about how the audience, or also everyone else, can maybe also get involved in this c&c toolbox processes.
As Annika and you mentioned, today is just the starting point for our toolbox. And coffee&climate for us is the platform for exchanging on climate change. So we invite all partners here in the audience, but also beyond, to get in touch with us and to have a discussion of how we can also bring knowledge from third parties into the toolbox, or how we can cooperate to bring the toolbox maybe to further countries. I saw in the chat that Peru and Vietnam was mentioning, and we can collaborate with complementary partners in these countries to upload also their climate smart practices to the toolbox and make it then available to everyone as a public good. So we are totally open here to collaborate with relevant or further partners, be it roasting companies, traders, NGOs, universities. Just reach out to us and let's have a discussion about it.
Yes, and I think also if you're in Uganda, Victor is open to receive you, right, Victor? No, you're still muted, but you said yes, I'm pretty sure. Okay, yeah, we get a lot of questions, but I think we are coming to the end of today's webinar. So what is coming next is that you should start using this toolbox. So I really thank you a lot for being with us today. I'm really sorry we forgot to put the link here again, but you have the QR code. The link of the toolbox is toolbox.coffee, and you can also scan this QR code now, but in the follow-up emails that you will get after we anyway will send you, after you register to this webinar, we anyway will also post the link again. So again, thank you very much to our guests or speakers today, Annika, Victor, and Stefan. Thank you for all your really valuable and amazing input. I invite you to start using it now. And as Stefan said, people from, for example, Costa Rica or Peru wrote us how to utilize it. In Vietnam, get in touch with c&c and try to find ways how we can incorporate your region, and also if you have knowledge ideas that you would like to include. Stefan is, you never get him tired of looking for new approaches, and his email box is always open for you. Sorry if I ruined your weekend now, Stefan, but I think you will manage with it. So thank you very much. Scan the code, start exploring, and put the bookmark on your home screen or download it as a desktop app. We are really looking forward to the feedback, to the comments. And as I said a couple of times now, we are also still in the beginning. We will see how this develops. I'm sure we have a lot of great things coming up. And thanks again for joining us today. Keep us posted what you think. Thanks to our presenters, the technical team that supported us, and of course also the development team of Melting Elements who supported us with coding the whole app and designed it as well. And we give a big wave to you, all the four of us. Say bye-bye, and I wish you a fantastic day, and see you somewhere online in the toolbox. Thank you very much.